That's true.
It is true. No record button means it's not actually working. And welcome to another episode of The Real Pundits. But it's not just any episode, is it?
It's number 50.
50. That means we've recorded 50 shows. And if this is your first one, welcome. If it's not, then...
If this show was a caliber, it'd be a big old bullet.
Yes, sir. And we made it to 50. And, of course, like other...
I'm shocked and appalled.
Why are you appalled?
Just that we've made it this long without me having a mental breakdown.
Well, I'm
disappointed in myself.
That you haven't had a mental breakdown yet? I'm working on that. I'm trying to bring up topics that would incite that whole situation.
Not today.
Not today. All right, so you missed out on the show. I handled my business, talked about some things. Is there anything you want to recap on that, man? I mean,
what was last week's? I swear to God, I listened to it.
Last week's was a quiet week just for the sheer fact of some scheduling issues.
Oh, yeah, but you reviewed.
We reviewed. I talked about the kitchen, that trailer for the kitchen. Did you check that yet?
I did.
What do you think? I mean, I was waiting to actually, because you said we were listening to the recording, that I'm still talking as if you were there.
Yeah. Look, I mean, listen, the kitchen. It's a mob movie starring my least favorite female comedic actor.
Okay, but seeing her doing a serious role, I have more interest in seeing that than anything silly.
I mean, yes, and I mean...
And for those who...
We'll see.
Let's narrow it down. You're talking about Melissa McCarthy, because I just realized there's a couple of other
She was
actors.
in the Dirty Puppet movie.
Yeah, is that what we're calling it now?
What was it? I'll keep...
the Dirty Puppet movie, let's just call it that.
The Rotten Cotton.
Wow. And also, did you see that Dark Crystal trailer?
I did. That I'm excited for.
It looks great. I can't say enough of how that was that just got me. And I love the fact that they're mixing just a little bit of modernization, but still using that hardcore old school style. So, what did you want to talk about today? I mean, this is episode 50.
I mean, we talked about going back to classics.
So, what classic did we pick, man? I'm going to go ahead and get started on this.
I think we should leave it till the end. Let's talk about everything else
okay.
leading up to it.
Okay.
We're going to be doing a review of a really old film and one of my favorites. In fact, the face is tattooed on my leg.
So that definitely means it's something for people who know you.
Universal.
It's Universal, which is a holler out for our supposedly third member to be coming in. We're talking about Universal monster movies. So Meg, whenever you hear this, this is a shout out.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
At some point in the episode, I get to just say, "Shut up, Meg."
Wow. This is what you had to look forward to, Meg. So,
I'm so excited.
Hopefully this will make you really want to...
I don't even know this person, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, she's a huge Creature fan. So when we were going to go through and talk about
Creature's
Universal...
cool, but he's not as good as the monster.
You know, right now, somewhere in the world, she is screaming.
No, she knows it. That's why Creature wasn't made. That's why Creature wasn't made after Dracula.
All right, so let's get on to
Creature was made way later, not directly after.
Let's get on to the current things. Since we're going to keep on theme here, go ahead and tell me what you got. What did you find this week that really got your attention?
On bloodydisgusting.com.
Okay.
I was reading about one of my favorite vampire films, or one of my favorite vampire miniseries.
Okay.
I should say Salem's Lot. When I was a kid, this show creeped me out, and it made me really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But... James Wan and Gary Doberman, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Frankly, I don't care. These both are terrible, terrible filmmakers and writers.
Who are they?
Conjuring.
Okay.
Which we know how I feel. I don't care what you think about The Conjuring.
The first one was good.
I hate the first one. I hate the series.
The first one I enjoyed.
Jump scares and ghost story. Man,
the story for The Conjuring I thought was one of the strongest.
Paranormal
now, once
Activity,
you get to the second one,
Insidious,
during that same
Exorcist,
time period, that was the one that actually shined for me.
Man.
That's your opinion. Go ahead. So what are we talking about?
It's heavy reliant on jump scares. Okay, so both of them are redoing Salem's Lot.
What?
Yep.
Hold on. What?
They're redoing Salem's Lot.
Another Stephen King movie.
Yeah. No, and this Gary Doberman is actually the writer for It.
You know you're not selling me on this.
I'm not.
Because also I
I'm
feel
not
like
selling you.
Why even talk about it? I can't believe the fact that someone's going to... What are they just going to go through his entire catalog? Soon we're going to have The Stand on...
Here's the only thing that excites me about it is what he said in the interview.
Okay.
To quote bloodydisgusting.com, who is quoting Doberman, who is who's talking to Slash Film.
So you're quoting a dude who is playing.
I'm quoting a dude who from a website who's quoting a dude who was talking to another website. That's right. This is like fourth-party information.
So it's a tropical
But I'm
thunder.
reading it, and if I'm wrong on this, you blame Bloody Disgusting because I'm reading it directly from their website.
Okay.
Now, he said, and I quote, "I did have a unique way into it, but again, I think the book itself is unique," Doberman told the site. "Certainly, now, I haven't seen a scary vampire movie in a long, long time, and I'd really love to tackle that. It's one of my favorite books, and it's one of my favorite Stephen King books. We have felt that it should have the cinematic treatment that we gave it. It was
bad. Oh, no, sorry. Go ahead. I had to interject.
It was also a miniseries, is basically what he was going to say.
Okay.
Now we're going to turn into that.
Sorry, I had to go for that one.
He wants to bring it to the big screen. He says it's going to be scarier than the original. But see, the first Salem's Lot was directed by Toby Hooper, who directed A Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, and that gets you interested all of a sudden?
No. That's what I'm saying. That guy directed the first miniseries that I liked in '79.
Okay, and so now that we're going back to Salem's Lot.
You're taking a concept that I love and remaking it. I feel like I've been down this road before recently when somebody promised me an awesome mummy film.
Oh,
they promised
really? We're going there.
They promised. Speaking since we're staying on topic for Universal, they promised me a really good mummy film. I accept Brendan Fraser's Mummy because it's Brendan Fraser, and
it was fun.
It was a fun. It was
movie.
a fun, campy film that you can't take seriously because the caveman from Encino Man is the star.
I thought he made his way during that.
I mean, he definitely ran a lot, but so did this other guy, Tom Cruise.
So we're gonna have a foot race based off of who actually ran the most between those two movies.
I was hoping that it would literally. There was a joke on Reddit when the Mummy was coming out that it was going to be Tom Cruise. The first 10 minutes is Tom Cruise breaking into a pyramid. After he scales it, and, drops down by a wire and takes off somebody's face, and does the Mission Impossible thing and runs a bit down a hallway that's collapsing. And then he opens up a sarcophagus, and it's Brendan Fraser, who then shoots Tom Cruise and says, "Do you want to know what actually happened?" Breaks the fourth wall. And then it replays Brendan Fraser's Mummy.
That'd have been a good movie.
It'd have been cool. Because at least it'd have been a big FU to anybody expecting something great from Tom Cruise.
I don't know, Justin Bieber trying to call him out to fight.
That's awesome. I'm hoping somebody makes that happen. 50 Cent, where are you? Make it work.
Bieber Cruise bout? Yeah, okay.
Look, Bieber versus Tom Cruise. We can get Chris Brown and Soulja Boy in that.
The lower card.
Was that Chris Brown and Soulja Boy that were going to box celebrity boxing?
I can't remember who it was. I was thinking this is awesome. Ridiculous. That's what hit Twitter this week.
Maybe we can get Gary Busey involved somehow. Make it just a completely amazing thing. Gary Busey versus Kanye West. Crazy.
All right, so that was your news. They're going to and they're remaking this.
Yeah. So my point is, the last time somebody promised me something good out of a remake that I loved, I was disappointed.
Well, I mean, how many more King movies do we have left?
I mean, there's a lot
that were actually worthy of making. I mean, we're gonna
redo Misery. We're gonna redo The Langoliers again.
Misery, with the current climate that we're in, I can see them redoing Misery.
We're gonna redo The Stand. I can see that happening
in theaters.
Yeah.
No. I see that strictly. You would have to put it on Netflix or Hulu.
They're probably going to do another Mist. Why? Because they can. They're running out of ideas.
No. See, you just do that just as a crotch kick for me because you know how much I love that movie.
But then there's the one that nobody's touched that somebody eventually will.
Which one?
And you know it's going to be bad.
Which one?
The best Stephen King film. Period.
Oh well, you said the word "best." Automatically, Stanley Kubrick
exactly
just shines.
The Shining, because they haven't touched that.
Yeah,
now,
they have.
They haven't remade The Shining.
They did it for TV.
That's not remaking it in film. I don't care. You can remake. You can turn a film into a miniseries. You can do that. I can dig that because you're literally editing it down to be suitable for the mass audience.
But during that time period, he was knocking out the box with tons of TV adaptations for his books. Because Rose Red, I thought was a good one. Yeah, Anubis. So, there was another one that was during that.
Langoliers and that whole same time
Yeah.
frame. And I'm fine with the straight for TV movies. I'm fine with the miniseries. They're not silver screen promising me something fantastic.
I don't think you can do his stuff honestly on silver screen. You just don't have that type of time. Not The Stand.
They probably will try.
I just don't. Not in this day and age. I don't see it happening. All right, so you're not looking forward to that one. So
Not at all.
We're just going to call that one a wrap on that one. So since we're going to keep in the same theme, I'm going to go through one of my articles that I've wanted to actually talk with you about. So there's a war for Blade.
Oh, yeah.
So I pulled, since we're going to be giving up, the sites that we're going to be doing our bibliography on this whole situation.
Well, you have to cite your sources.
I'm citing my source right now.
We're proper journalists.
Yes, we're proper journalists. All right, straight off of We Got This Covered is where I learned about the Blade battle. So Kevin Feige, the lead of Marvel, is really fighting hard to make not just Blade, but Wesley Snipes as Blade make a comeback and do another movie. Now, of course, there's that whole thing of, are we going to get a actual Blade movie, or is this going to be a passing the torch and he's going to have his daughter Fallon coming in as him teaching his daughter to continue on with his legacy? Now, that's what Feige wants. That's the idea that he wants to throw out there and at least have aging.
Wait, Feige wants the passing of the torch?
Yup.
I want a Blade movie, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Give me Blade. What's his name? Michael B.
What?
Get Michael B. Jordan to do it.
I think he's done enough Marvel characters.
I don't care. If we can have a Human
There's
Torch,
a whole-
Captain America,
There's a whole
we
bunch
can have
of
a Killmonger.
Killmonger, Johnny Storm into Blade.
I
mean,
forget
heck,
it. That
at that point, you might as well just call back up Sticky Fingers and have him do it because he was the last one to play Blade.
You know who we should get it? We should get the guy that played Omar on The Wire.
There you go.
Yeah.
But the whole concept is the reason why we're right back where we started. Nice job. But the whole concept is there's a battle comes up in is Hulu, and then we all know if you've been following anything on the internet that the Hulu situation is going to be changing up very soon. Hulu is trying to do their own TV series.
But Disney owns the majority of Hulu.
And that's the reason why I'm saying we may just get right. They might just jump the entire situation and put it straight into what they're trying to do, which is the Spirits of Vengeance, which is basically taking all the Marvel Knights, spelled with a K, and turning that into a actual running series.
Just we'll get some Punisher in there too.
Well, they're looking right now at Hellstrom and Ghost Rider, and of course Blade is where they're going to start off with.
Does that mean we're going to get some Morbius action?
Oh no, because the Morbius movie is going to be over in the Spider-Verse, the new Spider-Verse. Well, you rephrase it. The Sony new Spider-Verse, because as it stands right now, that's where all those characters are going to be playing. So really not really a Spider-Verse, more of a Venom-verse. So that gets into a really tricky area of they still have that one and holding it tight. So eventually in 2020, we should be seeing an announcement for some form or fashion of a Blade movie.
Well,
and I don't think we're going to get what we had. I don't think the time period is made for Blade. No. It worked for its time.
Well, you know what? Dude, I'm telling you, there's something awesome about that Frost character.
Oh, Deacon Frost was perfect.
It was the most 90s movie to ever 90 before The Matrix.
I would have to agree.
And
it was the flagship of showing that you can do a comic book movie right.
It was the flagship for this current Marvel run.
Right.
They wouldn't have made the X-Men had Blade not been successful. And it's an underappreciated film that doesn't get enough credit.
And everyone always overlooks that when we're talking about Black Panther being, the first Blade.
Meteor Man.
Well, Marvel.
Okay.
Marvel.
Blade. Look, man, everybody wants to discount Meteor Man. I love that movie.
I know you do.
And Blank Man. I love Blank Man.
Well, Matt Case, what are you going to throw in Pootie Tang soon? What I say? Anyways.
Wanda Sykes' character from that is the greatest.
That was her one great role for you?
That was it. Everything else she does, her stand-up, terrible. That one character, just dressed like a hooker, dance on the street. Some perverted old man just tries to buy her. She gets mad, beats him up with a purse. It's awesome.
Well, now that we've had that break from reality of Wanda Sykes. Why don't we get into today's movie, man?
Because I'm not ready.
Well, how can you not be ready? We've been waiting to do this movie for a hot minute, man.
That's fair enough. Okay, so today's movie is Dracula from 1931, the flagship of
okay, we're doing another
the
flagship.
Universal movie monsters. This is what brought vampire films to the table. You had a movie that came out before it called Nosferatu.
Okay, that's what I was saying. You're not going to bring it up.
I'm not going to not bring Count Orlov up. He's staring right at me. And I love Nosferatu. This is not me discrediting Nosferatu, but too many people try to compare
those movies. No. Why?
Because
There's no
technically
reason to.
Nosferatu was first. Nosferatu was a silent film made in Romania or Germany or somewhere over there. I forget.
Somewhere over there.
Hey,
in the country
Eastern Europe.
In the country of Eastern Europe.
It's all one giant country. You can walk.
During the time period, yes.
Texas is larger than Europe. Probably not, but no. In all seriousness, though, in Count Orlov is a fantastic character. The Nosferatu film is amazing, but it's silent era, not golden era.
It's not, but at the same time, you can see a lot of from Dracula where they pulled a lot of that inspiration of, because this movie could have been done without an actual line track.
Oh yeah,
and you'd still convey what. Like I was going to bring it up. What makes this movie is big sets, like stage sets, and music. The music is what was telling the entire story, and there was music almost the entire time. We don't see movies like that. I mean, yeah, Baby Driver existed, had one heck of a soundtrack, but it was not musically moved the way this was. Everybody had a soundtrack, and every scene has an orchestra playing what it was, which really reminds you how much this was really made originally for the stage.
Well, I mean, it started off as a stage show. That's how Bela Lugosi got the job. Originally, Universal didn't want him. But what I was saying about Nosferatu, the reason you can't compare the two, you almost have a decade. It's 9 years in between the film's release, and the technology was vastly different. You had still shots versus the long tracks and sound.
Yeah,
it's completely different. The styles are different, not because of anything else than just technology. It's like comparing why everything else is better in the past than now. We have too much technology. In this situation, technology improved it. Technology can make or break a film.
Oh yeah, I would never deny that.
But this movie immediately made Nosferatu feel like an antique. If you watch them back to back,
yeah,
it immediately is like you're like, oh, this must be 50 years in between. It was 8.
Yeah,
and you got to think by 1930, the idea of talking pictures was only 3 years old at the time. So Nosferatu just missed that mark.
But it was, for what it was, for its time period, it was the introduction into what we can now call the horror world. I mean, this was if you really call it, minus a small, sad love story, a tragedy, if you want to call it that, it was really our introduction to horror.
Yeah.
And I think they did a really good job, because there are scenes in that movie that were very, even with as dated as it is, if you look at movies now, very suspenseful movie. And
it felt like a stage show, which is the thing that throws most people off nowadays. There's a scene when Renfield dies. If you listen closely, as he's falling down those stairs, you can tell those stairs are made of wood, not stone, even though they're portrayed as stone. It's a little audio glitch.
But see, I ignored it.
Honestly, it's one of the things that I sit back now and I appreciate things like that. It's the same thing looking back on the Evil Dead franchise.
Oh, wow.
I appreciate the low budget, when he did what he could with the makeup, and it's what they had. There's not, you don't need to make a super fancy stylized film to make it good.
And you get lost in lost in it. You forget that, the bat's on a string.
And there's a big difference. There's a big difference between these movies and the movies nowadays. You can make an argument that our actors now are not the same caliber. We had back here theater actors. They were projecting. They knew how to emote. They knew how to go without stop. Okay, do that again. In theater, you don't get the chance to do it again. You either do it right or you bomb. So theater actors tend to put on a better film. But
you also see the transition between Bela Lugosi. If you're doing this for stage, your facial expressions don't have to be dead on. But Bela Lugosi, out of all of the actors in this, took on film
started playing
so
it in
well.
27, and they filmed it in 30. So, 3 years into doing it.
3 years into doing it, but doing the facial expressions. Now you actually have a camera. You can actually see it. You're not sitting in the nosebleed area looking down at this going, oh, he must be staring at her. No, that look, what I want to talk about the entire time is that man had a look. Mm-hmm. Bela Lugosi's look, just, even now, you're going, man, I would be creeped out by this entire situation.
That's why I have that look tattooed on me.
Yeah, because and lighting. For what they did with lighting, you have to give them props for what they did at that time period. Because they lit his eyes in a very odd way. And I know some of it was actually makeup. But they did a great job with what they had. And I don't sit there and take anything back from the movie except for a couple of strings on bats. That's my only negative I can come up with was...
See, that's the problem. This is what I knew was going to happen when we were reviewing these films. It's really hard for me to look at this and as a cynic because these are the films that make me love film. Yeah,
and I think that's where the big beef
I like to crap on all over films, like even Creature, right? Like I can talk crap right now, like Monster's better than Creature, but they're two separate films and they're both amazing.
Yeah,
I can't. It's the same concept with this film. It's an amazing masterpiece. It's one of the if you take. Unfortunately, we're desensitized now, but at the time, this was like one of the scariest things people had seen. Then follow up to Frankenstein, this, and then follow it up from that with The Mummy. And then, people were just being hit with these scary films, and they were not used to this yet. They weren't desensitized. These were kids and teenagers and mothers and fathers who were, some of them were war hardened, but, pre-World War II, these were
our hard flicks. Yeah. But I mean, we also have to look at the set designs for this. They took the concepts of a stage set design and made it even larger. Now, some of the fast shooting they had on the ship when they were going through there, you can tell one is a model on.
Yeah,
but I let it go. I'm not giving it crap.
I'm just to look at the day and time where it was made.
Looking at how that was done. That was done very well. And then you look at how they did this on the ship of showing how the ship was tossing it. That was a lot of water. And like you think of nowadays, like with currently they had Swamp Thing, they turned an entire soundstage into a swamp. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh yeah, that's no big deal. You're like, whatever. But for
that time frame,
1930, and they had this huge water set with people on it, and they're pushing down a lot of water. And then if a man comes out there, just stares at him like, y'all gonna be dinner. It was. I never really got thrown off by going. You could tell that was on a totally different set, and it wasn't because it was in black and white. It was just the way it was done. You just accepted the story for what it was. I don't think you can look at this movie in this day and age. Like I know there's people out there right now that movie looks cheesy. If you are a true film head, you're gonna look at it and going, "That's so impressive for 1930."
Oh yeah. Well, you have to look at it this way too. Think about. Judging based off of all things I could come up with on doing my research for this film. So the budget was $355,000, right?
Right.
And for 1930, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that was...
Globally, it grossed 1.2 estimated.
Mm-hmm.
Globally in 1930. It's amazing.
That's
amazing. So you also have to look at what this movie also shows us, and a lot of the Universal movies show us. Less is more. This movie's runtime was 75 minutes. 75 minutes. That is an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, and you told an entire story.
Yeah. There is a certain show that just ended. They couldn't do that. They got 80 minutes an episode.
Oh, boy. I thought you said you're dropping
I'm done. I'm not naming it. I'm just saying less is more. They did for less technology.
Mm-hmm.
Better writing.
Yeah.
Better actors. Not saying the actors on the show were not great, but theater-trained actors, and some of those actors are theater-trained. But
yeah, but you can tell the ones that were a little over the top. And then you're talking about less is more. If we're going to continue on in that whole situation, this movie was really gory, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, in my mind, I mean...
Yeah, no, and that's the beauty. That's what I loved about Salem's Lot, the TV series.
Yeah.
You didn't see a single death.
No, that's the whole...
For the most part, Dracula choked people.
And this is where I get into the whole thing of when you bring up the Salem Lot being brought back up, and we've seen some of these movies that the same camp has done. I'm not looking forward to seeing
gore fest.
I don't want to see a gore fest. I want to see what's in my mind's eye, and that's the reason I loved these movies. Is as soon as it was like, oh, he grabbed that girl in the corner, there was no dialogue.
So here's the question:
He stared at her and pulled her to the darkness.
Here's the question:
What's
I'm
up?
gonna pick up 4 of the many that have played him. You have Lugosi,
Okay. Oh, you're trying to say
Oldman,
the best? Oh boy.
Lee, and Butler. Who was the best Dracula?
That's a trick question. That is honestly a trick question. All right. First things first. I can knock down the list of 3.
Yeah, me too. I was going to say one of these things is not like the others.
I love the concept of the story with the one with Butler. The ending is
And he did an all right job.
he did an all right job. I'm like, whatever. I love the ending of the story.
Yeah.
And so to me, that sold me on that one just because I'm like, oh, nice
And
twist.
how we were talking, Blade was the most 90s film to ever 90s.
That one was
Dracula
really...
2000 was the most early 2000s film to every early 2000.
Oh, man.
You had Monster Magnet on the television. You had all kinds of crap going on. Now
we knocked it down to 3.
Yeah, so you have Lugosi, Lee, and Oldman. Now, it's crazy how you have that one modern actor.
And I can't let him go, man. That's the problem with it. For me, it's a tie. I can knock it down to 2. And it hurts me to knock it down to 2.
Who are you going to take away?
Oh, it's going to hurt, man. I'm going to take away Lee.
What? You take that back.
No,
he
I
just
won't.
passed away 4 years ago, earlier this week.
I don't know, and it's not really good for his legacy, but if I have to choose...
He was a Nazi hunter. You take that back.
Wow, we're going to do that. We're going to Chuck Norris.
This man
Christopher
accomplished
Lee.
everything. He even recorded a death metal album in his 90s.
True. And we went through that list of Christopher Lee. But the concept is, if you strictly look at just the roles, there are scenes that Oldman does that I go, that can never be taken away from history.
No, and that's why. But that's also out of the 50,000 movies that star Dracula. I narrowed it down to those 3.
And I can narrow it down to strictly those 3 because there's moments for each one of them. And I'm not going to honestly pick. But I will give props to Ullman as tying with Lugosi.
Well,
tying.
That's rough.
But you can also that's my
see,
direction because if you ask me this tomorrow, I will probably switch it because I'll go through and watch it and be like, no.
See, here's where the I think Oldman has something on the rest of them that none of the others have.
The ability to be a brand new person every single
He's
time.
He's a shapeshifter. He's not a human being or an actor.
All right, so we're gonna go with the best human.
So Lee or Lugosi, which Lugosi would take it. No, I think Gary Oldman's theater background shows, and that's what
I think
pulls
that's
him
what
through.
wins it. Yeah.
And same thing with Lee. Lee's theater background shows. It pulls him through, and you're like, oh my god, these actors. But then you get.
All right, so let's see what you're honestly gonna pick.
I can't. It was a trick question.
As I said, it's a trick question because there's each one for a different season.
It's just like you can't compare Nosferatu to Dracula.
No.
You can't compare the 46 or whatever the Christopher Lee Dracula was in the 40s to because the technology had already progressed so much. You could do so much more.
Right.
And then you had the 90s, which you got to see Old Man Dracula, young Prince Vlad, Beast Dracula thing.
But you've progressed the story every single time, and that's what I do like about.
Even the gore in the 90s one is not over the top gore. Each thing is useful. Each thing has a purpose.
It still is very psychological.
Yeah,
and so that's where
most of it was a mystery of what happened. The mystery of what happened to Jonathan and Lucy.
Yeah,
that's most of it. It's like what's happened here? Let's investigate this. Well, Dracula's just going on day dates.
Swipe left, swipe right. No, I really think that all 3 of those movies you really can't touch. I would put them all in that list of why even try. Yeah. But you did forget out one Dracula, Leslie Nielsen. You have to.
He's not put on that list, but he is fantastic in his own right. Dracula Dead and Loving It. For those of you that haven't seen it, you should. It is up there with the Naked Gun series. It is also up there with Spy Hard. And Leslie Nielsen is a comedic genius.
And we're going to get back to that. You said November, right?
Yeah, November we're going to do a whole episode on Leslie Nielsen. for the sake of
just for the sake of Leslie Nielsen,
because he's a phenomenal guy.
All right, so let's just narrow this down one last time. We're not going to talk about the best of the best. Right now, I need to know what your ranking is when it comes to Dracula.
Ooh, okay.
Remember, now we're on a new 1 to 10 scale here, so you can't use your 5, even though I can't stand the whole...
It's, oh, man. Not a perfect movie by any means.
So you just knocked it from 10 to 9. I'm gonna talk you through this because you're just kind of stuck there.
Oh no, my brain's doing it.
Do you want me to at least start it off with you?
It's a 7.
Wow.
If I want to give an honest opinion, it's a 7. It's groundbreaking. It's phenomenal. It cannot be beneath a 5. And my nostalgia and love for it brings it up to 6. And then if you look at what they did with so little, it'll bring it up to 7.
And then with my vote in there for set design, sound design, and music.
That's what they did with so little.
I know. I'm my version of it. I'm bumping it up to an 8.
7.5 then.
7.5 Pundit Score. I was really hoping for higher.
Yeah,
I was hoping that you would catch up to my 8.
I would love to, but
all right, then let's finish this off because I have to know what were the negatives that knocked it down for you.
The Renfield's death thing when you're trying to portray stone and I can hear the wood, like that's okay. I get it. You've got to build a set out of something, and this probably was filmed on a stage. I get it, but it's still like it's not a perfect film, and I can't be an honest cynic or an honest critic if I'm just going to be like, it's the greatest film ever, 10. I can't do it. I have to be honest about it.
And for me, it's the exact opposite. I'm still looking as the artist going, look at those shots. You cannot replicate those shots like you can, but no one's attempted to replicate some of these long shots and actually having set pieces being as grandiose in black and white and using shadows. The lighting team on that whole thing worked their butt off because the record of photography
you can't take
back
it away
then,
from them.
That's why I have to give it.
That is why they
I'm
got
fighting
so much
for my
for
8,
so
man.
little. You're not going to get it.
I'm fighting for my 8.
I'm going to be
man.
honest about it, and you're.
I'm being honest. I'm being honest as an artist, as a film fan, as an artist. I'm going.
And that's fine. You can have your artist look at it. I can give it okay. It made estimated 1.2 million in 1931, which is astounding and the most money anybody's seen in 1931. So I'll give it that half a point. You can have your 8 because of the money it made.
Okay, so at least we've now have it as the Pundit Score. The real Pundit Score is an 8. I will not push it to go any further.
You can't. I can't.
No, I know you can. And the only thing
I love this film, so don't like you don't understand how much that breaks my heart to give it something so low. Because, and if I'm honest about my favorite movie of all time, like my favorite movie of all time is the next in the series. Mm-hmm. It's the Monster is my favorite of the Universals, and it's only a 7. I can't. Back then, like if it was out of 5, it'd have to be a 5. There's less of a grading scale,
right?
But out of 10, there's too much of a scale.
Well, hey, we've knocked it down. We've talked about it. And we'll probably end up talking about this even more after the mics are off because there's still so much more I want to sit there and try to push for more. But, hey, we made it to episode 50. I was going to say level 50. We made it to episode 50. All right, so make sure you hit your save. All right, so if you want to hit us up, email, which is almost pointless for you to sit there and hit us up an email because, well, let's just be honest. People use other forms of communication nowadays.
Hit us up on Twitter.
So you hit us up on Twitter at The Real Pundits. And other than that, do you want to talk about ODG for a second? Or anything?
So we're going to be reformatting here. In fact, The Real Pundits...
Not really reformatting.
We're starting a whole new show and kind of
side show.
Side main show.
Side show. I'll still be here for
The Real Pundits. The Real Pundits is going to become a side show. It's going to become a every so often show.
For him, at least.
Yes. We are going to be doing a new show. It's going to be called The Old Dirty Geeks. Hence why I plugged that a few episodes ago. Just changing it up a little bit. Not that we're tired of talking about film. Not that we're not becoming a travel blog or any stupid crap like that.
We're not going to travel all over the South and go see different cities.
I mean, we can definitely do that on our off time. Okay. What do you mean travel the South? We're only going to go to 2 cities.
Yeah, Savannah and Null, and so that's travel.
But we're going to talk about just more than just films. We attempted it earlier in the Real Pundits life of doing the Geek Out.
Yeah,
which we found out
pending.
Somebody else's show entirely. But we didn't know that at the time, and so we're going to be doing the Old Dirty Geeks podcast.
And we'll be talking about a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it's not going to be as formatted. So if you just want to hear us just talk about some stuff,
it's going to be a lot of us BSing about things, everything from video games to music.
The comic books.
We're just going to geek out over some things, man. Comics, anime,
whatever you can find to geek about. Heck, we might even get somebody's shoe game or something like that. But the whole concept.
I'm not a sneakerhead. You want to talk about watches? I can do watches, but I cannot do sneakers.
It's pocket watches for me, man.
I don't.
There's something on my wrist, man.
A little bit of Rolex. Rolex. But no,
what, Rolex? I got like 12 of those.
Rolex. No, I love Rolex. Though.
5 to 10s, man.
They're actually doing they've got a really, really nice perpetual coming out. I am so excited for it. Either way,
now I'm asleep. That's all he had to say. I'm ready.
Well, no, I can't do sneakers. I'm just never been I can appreciate Jordans, but I just don't get them. And then unless you want to talk about the Puma runners from 2000, I love Puma. Wow. I can go that route. But no, see,
wow, man, your sneaker game is Pumas
weak. I can buy it at Journeys, man. I'm good. No, you want to talk about weak? It was my sneaker game, as you call it. I was for the whole from '96 to 2004.
You are bringing up some Doc Martens, aren't you?
Well, no, there was those. Those were my concert shoes. But I had either Airwalk, Vans, Etnies, DC.
See, there you go. See, the door's open. It's just not your top line stuff. I'm in the same boat with you, man. I'm a Converse fan.
Yeah, no, those you can't say those. They fall apart now. But
hey, no, man, the twos, the Cons too.
Before Adidas came out, the Converse were the
Anyways, we're getting way off topic, but this is more just what we were talking about. We're going to get into just casually talking about some stuff. So we'll be letting us know. We'll let us know what the schedule is, and we'll let you know what the schedule is of what we're doing. And listen up for next week, because we'll have another Universal monster movie to go into.
Or Ghostbusters.
I mean, the anniversary just did hit off, but we're still debating on which one we want to go through and hit up. But for everyone out there who's listening, happy Father's Day for all the fathers that are out there. We missed out on Mom, so
happy belated Mother's Day too.
And
but as a father, I can say thank you.
There you go, man. That's what I'm saying. Get a new carpet. And
now that is hilarious. I do have to tell that story on the podcast. So for anybody listening,
wait a minute, hold on. Let's just have the whole thing wind out first. This is where I'm gonna let him do it after the music plays. So
no.
You really gonna do it beforehand? You really want to tell the story? Okay, go ahead.
My son is 2, and I have to preface this so you know that I don't have some adult son pooping on the floor. He apparently decided it was his thing to do was to take his diaper off and just brick
right
on
there
the rug. I felt like the dude. That rug really tied the room together. And he defecated on it, except
you easily tied it right back to the Real Pundits.
Yeah,
you're still making this into the film.
I did. No, it was just one of those things that I had to.
So you lived the Big Lebowski.
I thought about cleaning it, and I was like, I could clean it, or I could just roll it up, take it outside, throw it in the trash, and buy a new rug. And then I thought, because it was a massive pile. This kid is not that big. He's a huge kid for a toddler, but that was adult poop. I felt like somebody snuck in the house, took my son's diaper off, crapped on the floor, and blamed it on him. It was that big.
Oh, man.
But no, it was just gross. It stunk so bad. I taken the trash down last night. Was the worst because I could smell that sun baked and rained on carpet
you
poop.
Just made the story way worse.
It was so bad. The joys of parenting. So happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day
for anybody else who's had to clean up crap off a rug or carpet, and not from your pet.
Oh, man. And on that note, like always, I end the show. Bye.
Peace.